Musically.
Hello and welcome to Relationship Soup. I'm your host, Lisa Hughes. Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. How y'all doing today? How's your week going? How was your weekend? Well, I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. I hope your week is off to a great start. Mine, honestly, it's a little bittersweet, right? It's a little bittersweet. So anyway, and we'll get into that in a minute. But anyway, thank you all for joining me. I see that you all are I see y'all comments already. And y'all know I'm going to bring them on. But this is what I'm going to do. Let me go ahead. I'm going to share in the chat. If you want to kick it with me in the studio, there's the link. Y'all just click that link, get on in here. If you want to be on stage, let me know with me in the studio. Just do that. All right, but anywho, so look, check it out. Now, you know I got to do my spiel before we get into our 60th episode. So thank you all so much for your support. We up to 60 episodes. So anyway, of course, you should be liking, subscribing across all platforms, right? Listen, come and join the forum, Relationship Soup Group. If you ain't in there yet, you're tripping. Come on in. We got plenty of room for you, all right? Now on YouTube, it's Relationship Soup, period. You got to put the period in there. If it's no period, you're going to be somewhere else, right? So, and if you want to follow me, it's Relationship Soup LLC. On IG is Relationship Soup. And then, of course, so I've had some inquiries about some greeting cards. Hit up the website, relationshipsoup.com. All right. We got your greeting card needs. So come, hey, get it in the website and order you some cards. All right. All right, cool. So I know I'm gonna get into y'all comments. We're gonna get into the 60th episode, okay? So let me go ahead and bring on a few of your comments, and we're gonna get into what the show is gonna be about. I see you, Leah Nicole. What's the science? I love the hearts. You know we love hearts, right? And if y'all feeling generous, send me some stars. Hi, Mark Lee. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Kim, cousin Kim. I appreciate you all the way from Georgia. I got to get back down there. I really miss the South. All right, so boom. So y'all, listen. This show is pretty close to my own heart. This one is entitled From His Heart to Mine, A Daughter's Reflection. And you're probably like, well, what motivated that? Well, on Sunday, February 23rd, and I promised myself I was not going to get emotional. I said, I am not going to be one of them people crying on social media. You know how people be, I'm going to try my best, right? I ain't going to be crying on social media. You hear me? Nah. But anyway, so my father's birthday, my late father's birthday, as many of you know, my father passed away. And he was very close to my heart. His birthday was Sunday, February 23rd. And I thought about it. I was like, yo, let me do a show where I'm talking not only about my daddy, but actually getting into as well just the importance of parental relationships, right? So whether your parents are alive or not, we're gonna share some wisdom today, right? Because those relationships are so important. A father-daughter relationship is important. Mother-son, mother-daughter, father-daughter, father-son, all of that is very important. So we're gonna share some wisdom today, right? So that's what we're gonna do. So anyway, make sure, like, hey, tell a friend, get in here, share your wisdom or whatever. Would love to hear some wisdom about what your parents have shared with you and some things that you've learned. All right, boom. So let me see here. What else? All right, so I guess I'll go ahead and start out. So my father, he passed away March 6th of 2023, and he was very special, right? Wasn't no perfect man, wasn't no perfect man at all, but very special nonetheless. And he has definitely had a great impact on my life. And so I just kind of want to talk about that. And then, like I said, also, y'all can sprinkle some things that you have gotten from your parents, whether they're here or not. Why not honor them, good or bad? Even if your parents weren't cool, there's still something that you have learned from them, whether it's not what to do or whatever, right? So let's see here. Okay, Derek Norris, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really, really appreciate you. All right. So this is what I want to do. Let me see here. I want to think about this. Can you think about a time where, or a life lesson that you learned, or life lessons that you've learned from your parents that you carry today? Right? Can y'all think of that? Do I need to type that in the chat? Do I need to type it in the chat? I guess I could type it in there. So, life lessons. I'm just going to put life lessons you have learned from your parents, living or not. Okay, boom. So that's in the chat. Oh my goodness, Carl. Carl, get in here. Get in here, Carlito. Get in here. Get in here, Carlito. Listen, the link is in the chat. You need to get in here because I know you got some wisdom. All right, so go ahead and get in here. All right, so boom. So, like I said, life lessons you have learned from your parents, living or not. What are some of those? Feel free to type them in the chat. All right. Now, I'm going to talk about a couple. Like for me, I feel like there's so many lessons that I carry, even from early childhood that I can remember to even my father's final days. Because even in my father's final days, he was showing love, wisdom, and support. And I'll share that here in a second. Um, One of the lessons was that Daddy taught me was to be true to myself. Right? He was so big on that. He was like, "Man, don't you shrink for nobody. Don't you conform. Don't do none of that. Be true to yourself." He taught me the importance that no matter where I'm at, never lose sight of who I am. Don't lose myself in no relationships. Be true to myself. That was very important. And for me, I believe that it does help me to be the best version of self. So that's one of the lessons. And another thing, even in Daddy's like final days, I remember we were having a conversation or whatever, right? And I'm always one of them people where I'm thinking ahead, I'm thinking chess. I'm thinking, okay, I got to do this, 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 and this, and this, and we're just having a conversation. And I remember it was a couple days before he passed away, and he was like, "Lisa, stay in the present. Stay in the present. All you can deal with is the now. You can't worry about, you know, what happened in the past or the future or whatever. You can't worry about that. You got to stay in the present." Right. And that was so significant to me because not only did it communicate the power of now, it's just like it allowed me to have peace because I can truly say that sometimes my mind ain't peaceful. And it has been like that since I can remember, even as a child. Right. So another thing Daddy would say to me is know your power. Right. You got to know your power. He would tell me, even as a little girl, you are powerful. He used to call me little girl, by the way. You got to know your power. You feel me? You got to know your power. You are powerful. Don't ever lose sight of that. And of course, my father was the first to tell me that I was beautiful, and that means a lot. So, although I think it helped me to avoid some of the game. because my father was the first to show me and tell me. And then another thing that was really huge was to give myself grace. Now, y'all, look, I didn't talk about it on the show in the past. I could be a bit of a perfectionist. Okay. But I have intentionally start working on that. Right. And I could be really hard on myself or whatever because in my mind, look, I got to get it done. I got to achieve. I got to do this and that. Right. So, one another thing, he was like, give yourself grace. He was like, little girl, you should be proud of yourself. Now, this is in the last days. This is in daddy's last days. You really should be proud of yourself for how far that you've come. So, anyway, that's that. So let's see here. I see some of y'all comments already. Derek says anything worth doing is worth doing well. Absolutely. Right. And that's something that when I think about daddy, if he wasn't going to do it right, he wasn't going to do it. Like one thing, my father could fix anything. Okay. I know that's exaggeration. I'll say almost anything. Right. And I think that's one reason, just his example alone. That's why I like brothers with toolboxes. If you ain't got no toolboxes and you don't know how to use it, just don't use it. I'm cool. You hear me? So he, but he wouldn't do something unless he was going to do it well, whether it was the job that he went to every day, whether it was fixing on our cars, fixing something around the house, or just, whatever. He believed in doing it well, not half-assing it, as he was saying. I ain't gonna don't half-ass that. Right. So that was another thing. So let me see. So, oh, thank you for joining me, Anna. Auntie Anna, I appreciate that. Love yourself. You have to love yourself. It starts with you. How you love yourself, you teaching other people that, right? So that's something to think about as well. All right, boom. So I'm going to move on. Of course, I'm definitely going to move on because I did share some of the questions in relationship soup, and I got to share some of the feedback from our members because what they say matters. What I would like to do first, what I want to share some pictures. Okay, I want to share some pictures of Daddy. All right. So this is one of them right here. This is me. I don't know. I was probably about 7 or 8 or something like that. And what my father is doing right here, he is fixing on his motorcycle, right? So, that's just an example. He loved to fix things. He loved to go fishing and stuff like that, right? That's actually one of my favorite pictures. And then there's another picture. See, I'm just letting y'all all into my life, okay? So this is another picture. So this is my father and his brothers. My father, if you're facing it, he's on the right. So he's the one in the black hat, and that's his son and his brothers right there. And that's just one of my pictures. I always thought that he had the best smile. And I'm gonna tell you something. The relationship that I have with my daddy is one reason why I love black men so much. So just know, brothers. How my father was with me is one reason why I am how I am with you. I think Future had a verse, it was my love for my grandmother that makes me care for you or something. Look, I ain't gonna drop no bars tonight. I'm saying those relationships matter. Those mother relationships matter. Those father relationships matter. I'm just saying. So anyway, I just thought I would share a little bit about that. So let me ask y'all this. I'm going to go ahead and share because I have put this question out there. What are some things that your father or father figure has taught you? Right. So, and y'all have shared some. If you're just logging in, what are some things that your father or father figure has taught you? What are some things? So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and share some comments from Relationship Soup. Okay, so these are a few comments. Hope you can see them. So Derek says, just tell the truth and let it be. Don't abuse women. Don't use women. Respect and protect women. But don't trust all women. Let them show you who they are. Don't chase women. Don't show a gun unless you plan to use it. Perseverance, pride. Okay, that's just a few. Yolanda says that great men exist. Trayshawn says it's okay to ask for help. A woman doesn't have to be so independent that you run men away. Being submissive is okay. You know, that's really something. We've had those discussions in relationship soup, and they go so many different ways. Like when we talk about submission and different things like that, right? And I can say something. One thing that my father, because I kind of grew up in traditional, and I say that loosely, household where my father went to work. He was the only income, and that was by his request. And my mother was a housewife. And they were married the entire year. They were married over 40 some years. Forgive me, mama. I can't really remember how many years y'all was married. I didn't slept and I'll be forgetting, my brain. Even though I'm timeless, my brain. I really did see a husband and wife work together. I saw them both love on each other properly. And now I'm not gonna lie to kick it like they was perfect because they were not. My father was not a perfect man, pure, not perfect, right? I saw both sides. My father and my mother, there was a submission there. My both of my parents also taught me the importance of independence as well, right? So so I've seen both of that. So I see some more of y'all comments. Let me see here. Oh my goodness, Pasha, thank you for joining me. How are you? How have you been? I hope you have been well. So, that's another thing, and of course, my father was really big on, being truthful, being loyal and all that stuff. That's where my loyalty comes from. So if I'm just saying loyalty is everything, you know. So that's another thing. And to Yolanda's comment about great men exist, absolutely. My father was a great man. Like I said, he was not perfect. He was flawed like everybody else, but he was still great. And just how he lived his life, the journey through life. And I've seen how he grew as a man, and I can appreciate those comments as well, those conversations as well, because, you know, I feel like even though I am learning those conversations that my father had with me, like for example, he would talk about, I go to this job every day that I hate. He hated his job, but his motivation was he wanted to provide for his family. And so, there was things that he talked about and things of that sort that helped me to give more of a understanding. And I can even say that even in my relationships, I have been appreciative. When I get a good man and he's taking care of business and stuff like that, it's that actually comes from the relationship that I had with my daddy as well. So anyway, yeah, so that's that. Let's see here. So Pasha says, yeah, I'm okay. I can't complain staying out. Hey, staying out the way, that's what's up, right? Have I been, Pasha, I've been blessed. I really can't complain. Life has been a little bit challenging. There's some things on my brain that I'm trying to sort through. Life be life in. You feel me? But other than that, I can truly say that I am so grateful and I am blessed. So, I definitely appreciate you taking time to come and hang out with me because you could have been anywhere in the world, Pasha, but you here with me and I appreciate that. So anyway, all right, so let's see here. I have another comment. My dad, your cousin, will be 90 years old next month. He is my hero. He has a toolbox still today, shows love in everything he does, always a provider and protector. Built my first bicycle. Oh, he rebuilt that. Oh, man. Bought my first car at 16 and encouraged me to be the best that I can be. Always seen embracing, kissing, and praying as a family. I love that. And I love your daddy too. When I lived in the A, I was able to meet all of y'all, and your daddy is definitely phenomenal. You have a phenomenal daddy, and that's always a blessing, right? And those toolboxes are important. We are not going to underestimate the power of a toolbox. I'm telling you, like I'll be look, and I'm in no judgment. You got to move how you want to move. I'm just saying, me as a woman, you got that toolbox. You can do stuff. That's a beautiful thing. That's all I'm saying. I love a man with a toolbox. All right, so boom. Oh, you're very welcome, cuz it was a definitely an honor to meet your father. Absolutely, it's always refreshing when you meet good men because you know what? The world is what it is, right? And especially and I'm just reflecting on, fathers, my black father, okay? And what some of the things that he talked about with me and that I actually seen him go through, right? And so yeah, I just believe in honoring, uplifting, talking about the positive attributes when I can, just to plant those seeds. Because all daddies ain't bad. There's some bad ones out there. Don't get me wrong. It is. And for those that didn't have a good father or a father that was absent, I sending you love and light. I hope that you still were able to get something, like whether it's what not to do or whether you were blessed with a father figure, whether it was a cousin, a grandfather, whatever, right? So I hope that you were able to get that. Daniel Artest, what's the science? You still stomping in your Timbs? You stomping right now? How's the NYC? Good evening, Queen. I know today is tough for you. Just know he's right there with you when the wind blows, that his presence keeping you safe. Love. Absolutely. And I appreciate that, Daniel. You know how crazy I was about my daddy. Oh, I was so crazy about him. And he was crazy about me too. You know, like I said, I'm not gonna act like our relationship was always perfect because it was not. There's some things that we had to grow through as father and daughter, and I'm very grateful for that. I really, really, really am. So yeah, absolutely. It is tough because his birthday was February 23rd, and then March 6th was the actual day that he passed away. So, it's bittersweet because I know that he's in a better place. I sincerely know that he's in a better place. And I never wanted my father to suffer. I was actually with my daddy when he took his last two breaths. I remember, let me tell you about this man. This is why I love a strong man. So don't be mad at me. Brothers, be mad at my daddy. If you're not a strong man, don't be mad at me. Be mad at my daddy. But what it was I remember when daddy was rushed to the hospital. And this, I'm telling you, this man was in his 70s and still had muscles. You know what I'm saying? He still had muscles in his stomach and everything. Like my father was always doing stuff, whether it was up on the roof, fixing stuff around the house. Like he was very active and he actually retired. I think it was like 50, he was 53 when he retired. So that's another thing. Financially smart, that's where I get it from. But anyway, so fast forward. So I remember when daddy went to the hospital and to see him down, it was already like, what? Superman's down? What happened? And so I remember the first night that we were in the hospital, like my mom and we didn't know how sick my father was because he would always just bounce back. And I just remember the doctor had said something about, oh, he's like, um, his heart was only beating at 10%, y'all. Like his heart was literally a flutter. We had no clue. It was literally a flutter. So anyway, so he was like, so the doctor was like, yo, he didn't say yo. He was like, your dad is one of our sickest patients. Boom. So we want to run some tests or whatever and see what's going on. And I just remember sitting with my father and he looked over at me, one of the just handsome as he wanted to be. He was like, little girl, I think it's my time to go. And I'm looking at daddy like, don't be saying that. But he was like, I said, Daddy, stop. He was like, no, I think it's my time to go. It feels right. I mean, I'm a fight for y'all. Don't get me wrong. I'm a fight for you, little girl. I'm a fight to live, but it feels like it's my time to go. So even in that moment, that was such an amazing moment to me because it's like he wasn't afraid, and just the way that he put it out there, and even the conversations that followed after that, it will stick with me forever. And with that, I feel like that also helped to prepare me for him not for his transition. So even when he passed away, I didn't even shed no tears. And those that know me and that are closer to me know how crazy I am. Well, was about my father and still am, even in spirit. I had a peace. So anyway, I see y'all comments. Let me go and bring y'all comments on. Let me see here. So Mark Lee says, my dad is amazing. That's a blessing. You still got your daddy. You still got your mom and your dad. That's a blessing. He teases me about Mark's dad, even though he is quite well known as well. Oh, okay. Enjoy your evening, love. I'll stay in touch. Absolutely, Pasha. Please do stay in touch. And thank you for joining me. It's been difficult to see dad fighting his health concerns. Yeah. And that's another thing. My father was the type, he did not go to the doctor. That's just the generation that it was, right? And even, in his final days, he realized the importance of, going to the doctor and stuff like that, which, during his lifetime, I'm sure he's seen a lot. And don't get me wrong, I could understand how he felt that way. With me, I've always believed in balancing holistic with medical, right? So anyway, sending prayers. Thank you, Miss Woodson. Thank you so much for joining me, beautiful. I appreciate you and thank you for your prayers. And I know you send in light too, because that's what you do. I appreciate that. And look, this cancer said that she's not going. I ain't gonna cry during this episode. I ain't gonna do it. Y'all are not gonna be able to screenshot and be like, look, y'all, because you know how y'all see them videos where people be crying, and anyway, not that crying is bad. Okay, I'm joking. Crying is very therapeutic And I do believe that God does bottle our tears. I really do. I guess I'm just poetic like that. All right, boom. Dad is trying to get me and my brother to make sure we know what to do when he leaves, but he isn't rushing to go anywhere. And Mark Lee, that is a good thing. And I'm gonna tell you something. Let me tell y'all something because I know that my father was clairvoyant. I remember it was probably about a couple months or so before he passed away, and I went over to visit them, and he was like, "Hey, little girl, I want to talk to you." And so we had a conversation about what his wishes were and stuff like that. And my father definitely did put stuff into place. So whether you are wherever you are, definitely have your business together, right? You don't want your family trying to collect, do a GoFundMe to try to, get you buried or whatever. So that's one thing I really loved about my daddy, that he was a protector and he was a planner. And even in his passing, you know what I'm saying? He was still taking care of us. So I can definitely appreciate that. So Derek says, my father being left paralyzed was interesting. He was confident for a man who couldn't feed or defend himself and was in good spirits. May he rest in power. Oh, Derek, love, light, and prayers. And may he rest in power for real. And that sounds a lot like my daddy. Like to see, because my father, very independent man, very strong man. Like, I always felt safe with him. And that's another prerequisite. I feel safe with you. Um, Even when my dad was his most vulnerable, he still had a strength about him. He still was in great spirits. Because I ain't gonna lie, those of you that met Mr. Hughes, I was really concerned a little bit this much when he went to the hospital because he was very independent and stuff. So I was like, oh Lord, please don't let my daddy do the fool in this hospital. But he was very patient. He was in really good spirits, didn't complain. Just it was amazing to watch. It was amazing to watch. And yeah, even when he took his last two breaths, it was still just amazing. So even though that experience, I never thought that that's what it would be. That I would actually see my father pass away, but I did. And he wasn't alone. So anyway, that was a blessing in itself. All right, y'all. So this is another thing I want to ask. Okay, let's see here. Nikki Bonner, what's the science? Thanks for joining me, beautiful. I appreciate you. We talking about daddies tonight. And I know that your daddy was very special to you too. Can you think of a lesson that your daddy taught you or a memory from your daddy that you would want to share? All right. So another question that I did ask in the group, I wanted to know basically, how is your relationship with your mother or father? We gonna put mamas in there too. Good, bad, or complicated. How did those relationships shape how you basically show up or move in a relationship? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and share that so y'all can see this question right chill. And I see y'all in the studio too. If y'all want to come in the studio, if y'all want to come live with me, type something in the chat so I can bring you on. All right, and I'm cool with y'all not if you don't want to come in the studio. It's all good. Um, so this is what I want to share. So boom, how was your relationship with your mother or father? Good, bad, or complicated? How did it shape you? Um, like for how you show up in relationships today. Okay. I know that's kind of wordy. But anyway, so Alex says, age has pushed me to show up the best way and most consistent way I can for my partner. Even though my parents' matrimony didn't last, they understood and demonstrated to me that you can do the best you can regardless of circumstances. Renee Pollard says, after being delivered from that by doing the work, my mom started to influence my relationships. She is a divine mixture of strength and grace. She is feminine in energy. She taught me that submissiveness was strength. Absolutely. I share that, Renee. My mother showed me that too. She definitely showed me that. Very feminine spirit as well. I watch her with her husband, and I am amazed at how respectful and gentle she is. And she is the breadwinner. Okay. Okay. I see you, Renee. Absolutely. Right. Those parents are just so important. Those relationships are so important. And I know some of us, we definitely have wounds from our parents because whether your parents were present or not, they could be present and there still be some type of wound there. So hopefully you're able to get the support you need to work through that. Right. So just a thought with that. So Nikki says, "Girl, my daddy was a pimp and taught me never to trust these." I'm so, Nikki, you know you and Leah's comments give me every time. So forgive me if you was trying to be serious. And I remember seeing pictures of your daddy. Your daddy was absolutely, he was handsome. I see, and your mama, she beautiful too. I see where they baby girl get it from because you are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, hey, it just is what it is. Sorry, that's pretty funny. But anyway, so um, thank you for sharing that, Nick. You needed that laugh for real because I mean, let's man, listen. And in Daddy's earlier days, because he shared some stuff with me, right? Just even during conversations, like when I would be talking about things that I went through in relationships and stuff like that, and Daddy would tell me about some things that he did in his heyday or whatever, and I'm like, look, Daddy, we got to break that because I don't want to be going through stuff. You feel me? Because of what you did, sense of the father type situation. But anyway, so um, yeah. So another thing too, like father daughter relationships, and we did have a show about this in the past. Like father daughter relationships, they definitely have an impact on self esteem and emotional patterns. It just does, right? Um, and I feel like my father, because again, he was the first man to tell me I was beautiful. He was the first man to tell me, look, concentrate on your brain. Don't just be pretty with nothing to say. Have a brain, be able to take care of yourself and just different things like that. That really was important for me. Um, just even with expectation and stuff like that, even my attachment style. And then, we'll get into that in another show. And I would say, even like with decision making and independence, like daddy did encourage me, you know. However, I feel like I can move either way. When I do get married again, because I do believe that I will get married again. And the first time was just practice, right? It didn't make me feel no way. Sometimes you just need a practice run. I feel like I will still know how to move in a relationship. Not that every aspect of my parents' marriage will work for me. I do feel like there's things that I learned from both of them that is definitely a pro for when I do get married again. All right, so Nikki says, my mother taught me strength, father taught me how to be soft in the safety of a man's presence. Wow. Oh my goodness, I absolutely love that. They both taught me that softness must be earned. Ooh, Nikki, I love that. Because we've heard the conversations about soft and all that stuff, being soft and things of that sort. Wow, that is profound. That's absolutely profound. Practice. Tyron Joe, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. Practice, yeah, practice. Now listen, I had to heal to that point. You feel me? Just practice. Just the, first run. It's okay. It's all right. I don't have no regrets. You was doing good till you said practice. Okay, Tyron. What you want me to say? Okay, let me put it like this. So you like my first marriage, I learned a lot, right? It was a first marriage, right? Learned a lot. Still practice. I don't care. It's practice, right? So I'm just saying. So let's see here. Nikki, my first marriage was also see, Tyron, I'm not the only one. I ran right out of there. Listen, Nikki, listen. You know the story because you was there. You was there when I was trying to heal through that. Now, when I did heal through that, like after my divorce, because y'all, I didn't get back outside until after my divorce. Like I really, when my separation, I'm telling all my business. It don't matter. It's a relationship show. That's what we do. So Nikki was actually like one of the people like there for me when I was getting back outside in these streets, right? She just was. We got the pictures and videos and lives to prove it, right? So anyway, but yeah, I ran right out of there. Listen, it's okay. It's okay. And I will never say that my relationship was a failed marriage. I learned and taught what I was supposed to teach. He learned. Hope. Well, I don't know. I don't know what all he learned because I don't really talk to him like that. You feel me? It ain't no beef. I'm just for emotion. But anyway, so I learned, I taught, I did everything I was supposed to do, and it was just time to do something else. Everybody's not your forever. They just not. Sometimes you're just supposed to learn things. That's all. Okay, so turns. Yeah, Tyra. Not taking away anything from marriage because I think marriage can be a beautiful thing, right? I know that we've had those conversations in the soup on social media about marriage or whatever. I think it's a beautiful thing. So I'm not downplaying it at all. Marriage is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I had to drag her out. Yeah, girl, go on. You should be like, come on outside, right? And I'm glad that she did, right? So, Nikki, I will forever love you for that. You was part of my healing, you and everybody else. And y'all know who y'all are, and I appreciate y'all always. Y'all always there. I love y'all for that. Sometimes that's what you need. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So anyway, where else do I want to go? Y'all in the studio, y'all want to get in here? Not. B, you want to get in here? Or you just want to stay in the studio? You want to get in? Let me put you on for a second. So I'm gonna bring Brandon to the stage. All right. We're gonna have a little chit chat. Hi B, how are you, Brandon?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm blessed. I cannot complain. You hear me?
Yeah, me as well. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, wait, Brandon, how far did we go back?
Way, way back.
I think was it elementary school?
I believe
I
so.
think
Yeah,
so.
I believe
Goodness
so.
gracious. It's been forever. But thank you for joining me. I
Oh,
really appreciate you. You've always been a wonderful soul.
very entertaining show. I liked it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So let me ask you this, Brandon. Can you think of a lesson that you learned from your mom or your dad or both?
Um, I've learned a lot of things.
Yeah.
My parents were together for a long time. Up till teenage years. So I've experienced a household with both parents, and I've learned a lot from both my mom and dad. They're both very different individuals.
Mhm.
I say I've learned how to love through my mom.
Oh,
You
yes.
know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
And through my dad, he's very business like. So he's straight, everything business, and he don't really play when it comes to financials and that type of thing. So, you know, just through the years, I just learned a lot through both of them actually.
That's a
So,
blessing.
yeah,
And I feel like that's a good balance. You learn in love, you learn in financials and stuff, right? I think that's a good thing because
yeah,
that's a compliment in your relationships, even your relationships and how you move with your kids, or children or whatever, I think
right.
that's a blessing. So hold on. So let's see here. So Nikki says, Brandon, aren't you friends with my brother Corey?
I believe so. Yeah,
It's a small world. I'm telling you, it is a small, small, small world. Yeah, so absolutely. Yeah, well, that's a blessing, B. And I'm so grateful that you came on. I just kind of wanted to get your feedback. You see, we got a couple other people in the studio. So
right.
thank
Okay.
you for joining me. Stick
No,
around though.
I
Stick
got
around.
it.
All
Okay.
right, love. Thank you. All right. All right, boom. So let's see here. What you drinking, Lisa? Oh, just a little potion. Just a little potion. Nothing too crazy. Just a little potion. Right. What you drinking tonight, Tyron? When you gonna come and join me in the studio, Tyron? When you gonna come join me? You need to get in here because you be having some good stuff to contribute. So Vonda, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you. Vonda says my parents just celebrated 65th wedding anniversary on February the 16th. Well, congratulations to your parents, Vonda. That's a blessing. See, I like to hear stuff like that. It's people out here still married, still listen, still. making it work, still winning, right? So absolutely. I knew Nikki, this is indie. You know what I mean? I know it be small. We be knowing a lot of people. All right, so let's see here. Yes, 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 Nikki. I will appreciate you for life. You already know that. All right, so let's see here. So I do have a couple of other people in the studio. Let's see here. Does Music Man, I see you in the studio. You trying to get in, you trying to get on stage? Mark Lee, you trying to get in? Okay, I'm gonna put you on.
Hey, hey,
Music
hey, Lisa.
Man, what's the science?
Hey, what's up? What it do? What it do?
What it do? What it do? How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Life is ebbs and flows, but we in here. We get to do this another day, and I say that strongly. We get to do this. We don't have to do this, and it's just a blessing to be on the other side of the dirt, and then till we meet our Maker. So God is good. Life is
All the
good, and I'm just glad to be here. Glad to be on the show today with you, sharing this moment with you, and
time.
my heart goes out to you. Heart emojis and broken heart emojis for Dad and everything because. He reminds me of the man in my life. So I was raised by a traditional man, and
Mhm.
I definitely am one of them. And I will say, I know you were talking about earlier the life lessons. I was raised, by my grandfather. My biological father was in my life till three, but I was raised by my grandfather, Mr. Jones, Richard Jones. Shout out to him. And one lesson is I learned from him. He if he says he used to always say that if you show me a ugly Jones, I'll show you a pretty monkey. So uh,
The
Mr.
stuff that they
Jones,
would say.
I love my grandfather, and I kind of model my lifestyle after him. I do have a toolbox, over to the left, so I know how to fix stuff, cut grass, tie. But in all seriousness, he was always about before people started standing on business. He was always about be a man in your word. Show up early. Do your best. Don't just half do something. Always go to the max. And that was a big lesson I learned from my grandfather. Um, for my mother, Miss Jones, to
Mhm.
her, who's actually out there listening. What's up, Mom? She
Hi,
was big
Mrs.
on
Jones.
Miss Jones. She taught me resilience. My mother's been through a lot of things in her life, and she's a person that has never given up from somebody who had different medical things, going in and out of the hospital, literally being in a coma for 3 days and coming out of it. Miss Jones is resilient, and so I will tell you, I always get that from my mother, and my faith and my closeness to God comes from my grandmother. She was a mother of the church, and one of the things I learned from her is just keep on keeping on. That was one of her favorite sayings. So I really, really love and hold all my parents, not just my biological parents, but my grandparents as well, because they helped mold me to be the music man that you see today.
I love that. I absolutely love that. It's those the parental roles, grandparents, aunties, uncles, all of that. They play such a significant role, especially
Yes,
when they're involved because what they say it takes a village, right?
it
And I
definitely
can
takes a village.
truly say that my village has definitely been influential in how I move in life, love, relationships, all of that, right? And just who I am today is a direct result. Some good and some bad. I ain't gonna lie to kick it. I'm pure, not perfect. I would tell you that all day long. I'm pure. I ain't perfect. You know,
Absolutely,
my intentions. I be meaning to for my intentions to be right. But I ain't perfect. So yeah, I do
indeed.
see a couple of comments. Let's see here. So Tyron says, I'm drinking Celsius. I'll be joining you very soon. And when will you visit my podcast? Tyron, tag me. I'll share it. I look, I'm not like that. It's enough out here for all of us to eat. You feel me? It's enough out here for all of us. Tag me. Tag me in your podcast. Inbox me. Let me know. I'm down. I didn't appear on actually a couple of podcasts. So let me know. You want me to pop on? Let me know. I'll let me. Just don't do it on Tuesday night at 7 because it's gonna be a no. I ain't gonna be able to do it. So that's that. So Vonda says, Daddy always told us anything worth doing is worth doing it right. Absolutely. My father's like, if you
Absolutely.
if you ain't gonna do it right, don't even do it. Right. And I think that's why my expectations, I guess you could say, be what they are. Like my father definitely set the bar. Now, I'm just saying, he was just a wonderful man. It just is what it is. Right?
Rightfully so. And every witness is black excellence. So Daddy did a good job.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I miss him every single day. Every single day I miss my daddy, right? So anyway, so anything else you want to add, Reese?
I just say, from life lessons, obviously you want to be able to sift the good. As you said before, none of us are perfect beings, but we can all glean things from, the loved ones that we've had in our lives, whether they're present or past.
Hmm.
So really just always look at opportunity to learn something from people, whether it's friends, whether it's family members, just people in public, because we can all learn two things always, what to do and what not to do. But I think that there's life lessons, and there's always lessons around us if we're paying attention, and it allows us to be a better version of ourselves every day. So Lisa's been a advocate, and I appreciate what
Hmm.
you've contributed to my life, and allow me to be a great element of the show. So thank you for being
Yeah.
an advocate and a blessing in my life. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And the thing is, like, I call y'all my divine connections or whatever. There are so
DC.
many parallels, right? DC, that's look, divine connections. I really appreciate my divine connections. And there's so many parallels with, how we were raised. There's so many similarities and lessons taught and things. I don't know if it's just always cultural or whatever. It just seems like, you know, I'm drawn to people with similar backgrounds or similar,
Yes.
lessons that were taught. So, I definitely can appreciate that. So,
Absolutely. So yeah, at the end of the day, when you were talking about your dad, I just felt so like connected to that because that's literally how I raised. My grandfather Richard Jones, who mainly raised me, he raised me like that. Again, I've seen and this is no diss, but I just believe that traditional values is what help people out. This new age stuff, things are falling apart. And again, people live and kick it how they want to live, but traditional values to me, I think are the bonds to keeping families strong and making good connections through marital or relationships with your kids, whatever that dynamic is, being
mhm,
that foundational, have those foundational principles move us forward. We talked a lot about it with divisiveness, and I think that's the reason why we're in this culture of divisiveness now, is because we don't have strong foundations with mothers and fathers in this current dynamic that we're living in. So
absolutely.
again, shout out, rest in peace to my grandfather Richard Jones and my grandmother Jean Jones. But I'm a Jones to my heart, and you know, I can tell you that I'm glad that I was raised traditional, and I'm gonna stick with that until I meet my maker and be the best version of myself every day.
Absolutely. And I think that that is really key. Like, I remember somebody telling me many years ago, I remember being in my 20s, man, you holding on to your parents' apron straps, so to speak. Okay. You know,
Right?
you can't really argue with knowledge and wisdom. Like I said, my parents were not perfect people. However, there are ways that they move that I don't care about what new age say. It's not going to trump that at all.
Yes,
It's not, because at the end of the day, I'm not saying this new age way don't work. You gotta, hey, whatever your relationship is, whatever your journey is, move accordingly. However, for me and my journey, right, for me and how I move, when I'm in a relationship, how I moved in my marriage, listen, it was a lot of traditional in there, right?
yeah,
And again,
absolutely.
and I don't have no regrets about that at all. I don't feel no way, because
Yeah,
it'd just be important to make sure that you match with someone that can understand that is a compliment with that. That's it.
I
Because I'm gonna
agree,
be
and
true to myself in that sense.
yeah, as you should be, and that when you're true to yourself, you can move, within comfort and really become the best version of yourself because you're living out of your foundational being of who you are. And being who you are is always a moving target. Again, we should always be elevating to be a better version of ourselves, but absolutely stick with your foundational principles and move accordingly. And
Absolutely.
that's again two things I learned. I have aunts too. I've learned things from it. And my aunt, rest in peace to my Ethel, and my aunt Nita, who passed last year. I had two aunts who passed last year, but
Mhm.
for my aunt Ethel, she's something else. She was something else. God rest her soul. But she was a person that would tell you don't let people play in your face. So like she was big on that, and She was a strong woman, and she also was a woman that taught resilience, and she was really like powerful. And then my aunt Nita, who passed, who was my grandmother's sister, by the way, she was an educator. She believed strongly education and getting learning and learning new things, and not just in the traditional educational system, but and things around you and learning from people, because there's a plethora of knowledge out there. So I learned those things from my aunts who are no longer
Absolutely.
here. So,
Absolutely.
so
All right, Reese. So this is what we're gonna do. We got to get this true false game in here real quick. So I'm gonna take you off for a second. Don't go nowhere. I'm
okay.
gonna I'm gonna bring you back. All right, boom. All right, y'all. So y'all know we like to do a true false. So let's see here. So Nikki says, I got lessons I still carry from my best friend's dad back in the day. One jewel. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Absolutely. Kim says, love is a learned behavior. Our children learn from their parents. Absolutely, they do. Absolutely, they do. Thank God today podcast and therapy help many of us. Absolutely. It really does. Oh, hey, Halo. You could have got in this studio, Halo. How am I feeling? I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm dealing. There's some adversity in my life right now, but I'm dealing. I'm blessed, and I miss my daddy like crazy. It's just this February, March, and April are still very fresh for me because February, the end of February is Daddy's birthday. Like I said, February 23rd. March 6th is when he passed away, and then in April was my parents' anniversary. Like they got married on my mama's birthday, right? So it's bittersweet. But at the end of the day, it's all good. It's all good. It all works out. And I know that my daddy wouldn't want me here sad, right? I just, I be in my feelings sometimes. I'm a Cancer with a Taurus moon. I be in my feelings sometimes. But all in all, I'm blessed. All is well. Everything is working out for my higher good. So all is well. All right, y'all. So this is what I want to do right quick. All right, we got to get this true false game in here. I just want to know what y'all thinking, right? So this is the first question. I'm gonna go ahead and type it in the chat. Tell me what y'all think. All right, so the first question is, fathers release more oxytocin, the bonding hormone, when playing with their children than mothers do. So they release more than their mothers do. What y'all thinking? What y'all thinking? So let me read that again. Fathers release, true or false? Fathers release more oxytocin, the bonding hormone, when playing with their children than mothers do. What y'all think? True or false? What y'all feel about that? What y'all feel? True or false? Is it the daddies or the mamas? What y'all thinking? Science. Hey, you already know science. False, Kimberly says. Want to say more because I just left her now driving. Okay. All right. All right. Derek says, my mother taught me strength, grace, and forgiveness. Absolute. Oh my goodness. That forgiveness piece. Oh Lord. My mother taught me forgiveness. And like I said, my father definitely grew. And I'm my daddy's daughter, right? He didn't always forgive at first. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, at first it's like, nah, man, what's what we doing? All right, so y'all saying, so Kimberly says false, tonality says false, Halo says mothers. I don't know, no. So let's see what the answer is. So the answer is true. Studies show that fathers experience a surge in oxytocin during active play with their children, strengthening their bond. So fathers, like if you got little kids, like play with your kids. That's good. You probably need that hormone, especially with the way the world is today. You probably need that hormone, right? So let's see here. Oh, look at this one, y'all. What y'all think about this? All right, so this is another true false. Okay, a father's diet before conception can affect a child's health. What y'all think about that? A father's diet before conception can affect a child's health. See, I wouldn't know nothing about this. I don't have no kids. You feel me? I just never had none. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I just never had none. I'm telling you, like this is so interesting because I don't know why this was popping up in my Instagram stories and my Facebook stories. I'm like, I don't have no kids. I probably won't have no kids. You feel me? So I'm like, but anyway, this popped up in my timeline. So what y'all thinking? What y'all thinking about this before we get out of here? So let's see here. So Kim says, interesting. So Halo says, oh, okay. Tonality says true. Nikki says, yep. Tyron says true. Kimberly says true. Halo, I came in late. That's all right. It's all good. So let's see what the answer is, y'all. The answer is dun, 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 true. Research suggests that a father's nutrition and lifestyle choices can impact the genetic health of his children, right? And I even read somewhere, I can't say yay or nay with this. I just thought it was really interesting. It was also saying how a woman's pregnancy goes is it's determined by that man, the quality of that man's sperm. So if she's sick all the time, she got a whole lot of problems. That's because that sperm ain't right. Okay, I won't say that. It's because that sperm might not be the most quality, right? You never wanted kids. You know what, Halo? Okay, I'm gonna make it real quick. Did I want kids at one time? Okay, so in high school, when you get back in the day, we used to get the senior books and stuff, and it had where you see yourself in so many years or whatever. I thought I was gonna be a traveling physical therapist with 5 kids. You hear me? Five. I thought I was gonna have 5 kids. And then as I got older, once I got out of my 20s or whatever, I was like, oh well, late 20s, around late 20s. Because I always thought by 30s I would have kids. I was like, I'll just do 3, right? And then when I was in my 30s, I was like, I don't even really, you know, yeah. So to answer your question, yes, I did want kids at one time, but now I'm Gucci. I'm good, right? I'm just saying. True. 5. Yeah, I wanted 5. I wanted 5 kids. 5. Oh no, I just wanted 5. What happened? This wasn't meant to be. It ain't nothing wrong with me because see, first everybody want to look at the woman. What's wrong with you? No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. That's all I'm gonna say. It wasn't me. I'm healthy. I'm very healthy. Right? It wasn't me. It just wasn't meant to be, and I'm okay with that. Because I feel like, although, you know, it may be expected for women to have children and stuff like that and all that. But the truth of the matter is I done mothered many children. I just didn't have to get the stretch marks and the morning sickness to do it. I'm an educator, I'm a professor. You feel me? I volunteered with children, at shelters and different things. And I ain't trying to be braggadocious. And I've dated a couple men with children. And hey, I was good. We was good. So I've played mother in many ways. You hear me? So I'm just saying. Plus, I got nieces and nephews. Mom is more of the caregivers. Absolutely. I got 2 nephews. Oh, Jasmine Lindsay, what's up, beautiful? What's up? I know that's right. Listen, Jazz. Hey, Lisa, stop while you're ahead. What I do, Tyron? What I do? You know that mean what I do. And I think youngest one drove mom crazy when he rode brother's electric car. Listen, hey, I ain't mad about my journey, y'all. I'm just saying. Lisa has a motherly energy. Absolutely. Let me tell y'all something because even when I worked in K through 12 for a minute, like I said, I'm a professor now. Look, I ain't do nothing to them kids, right? And the role that I played, I remember it was this whole classroom of kindergartners. I will never forget them. And I had to watch their classroom or something because their teacher had to step out. And so, with them kids, when I'm said, let's call her mommy, let's call her mom. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, hold on. But I'm just saying, like, and that was so pure to me because for me, I feel like children are closest to God, right? I feel like children, and when you close to transitioning, like, elderly people or whatever are close to transition, I feel like you closest to God. But them kids, they always calling me mama. I ain't do nothing to them kids. They just be knowing. I do have that energy. I'm a queen mother goddess at the end of the day. That's why I take a special one for me. I am a queen mother goddess, and I say that with my whole chest in a very feminine way. I'm just saying. Jazz, I know, beautiful Jazz. Yeah, we need another girls' night. I still remember when we went to the vineyard. Nikki, remember we went to the vineyard and we had to walk the 7 mile. Big up to educators. My late aunt was an educator. Her birthday was yesterday. Well, happy birthday to your aunt, Mark Lee. Talking about that morning sickness. Listen, look, love and light and congratulations and kudos to the women that did it, y'all. I commend you. It just wasn't my path, and I'm all right with that. I know TD Jakes, I don't mean to quote TD. Don't get offended. But that man still has some good words. He said, don't never say never. I'm saying no. I ain't have no kids. I'm good. And mom and her other two sisters have been in educational field. I love that. You think I'm funny, Tyron? I do think I'm a closet comedian. I get called Baba. That's a beautiful thing. Ha, we had a yes, we did, Nikki. It's time. I still got them pictures and that live. All right, y'all. So I know, look, it is time for us to get out of here, y'all. I appreciate y'all taking time to join me. I'm so humbled. Each week, y'all come out and y'all show out, and I appreciate that. All right, so boom, of course. Make sure that you are liking, following across all platforms. YouTube, Relationship Soup, period. Facebook, Relationship Soup Group. Come and join the group. I just approved a whole bunch of new members. If you want to follow me, it's Relationship Soup LLC. Don't forget the greeting cards. Get in there. Come get some greeting cards. It's some birthdays coming up, and we about to hit weddings, graduations, and all that. We got all that, right? So relationshipsoup.com. All right, and so just to end this show, just a message to my father because I know he's listening, right? I believe that, and I've always believed that, even when people transition over, it's just my belief. Believe whatever you want. I feel like they can still do a lot for you on the other side, and I know that my father's intervening for me. Look, Daddy, I got some things I need to holler at you about. I need some intervention real soon. But to my father, Billy Hughes, thank you for your love, your wisdom, and for shaping me into the woman that I am today. I ain't pure, I'm perfect. You know, I am so grateful for your influence, and your legacy will forever live in me, and I will always carry you in my heart. And my father knew that in life too. So it ain't where I'm doing it after he gone. I gave daddy his tools because I don't daddy he wasn't no flowers. You wasn't gonna give my daddy no roses. That wasn't he was a man's man. Roses. He'd be like, what's this for? You giving it to your mother? What I'm gonna do with these? But I'm just saying, like my father, I gave him his tools when he was here. But anyway, with that being said, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here because y'all already know Tuesday night, y'all know I'm starving, and I got some baked chicken in the oven. It's just smelling so chef's kiss. But on that note, y'all, thank y'all so much for joining me. I love you. Shout out to my mama. Mama, thank you so much for listening. And speaking of my mother, she's doing well, y'all. She's recovering, right? So thank you for your prayers. Keep those prayers coming. And my Aunt Anna, thank you so much. I appreciate and I love you so much. Thank you so much for looking out for my mama too, because she been hands on. And she was a soldierette about it. Like, look, hey, what your mama need? We there. We gonna work together. So anyway, I appreciate that. But of course, always, I'm gonna end with as well. Love yourself. And until next time, peace.